Hey everyone, welcome back. So until a few years ago, if you wanted a noise cancelling headset of any sort, Bose was pretty much the only option you had because, well, they dominated the market. Theirs was the only product that had active noise cancelling, and they did a very, very good job of it. The products were fantastic, the noise cancelling was awesome, but they also got to charge whatever they wanted, and then they got a little complacent. That was until Sony came into the market with their full-fat headphones that were Bluetooth, wireless, noise cancelling, had LDAC support, touch controls, a whole bunch of things, and they ended up pretty much sharing the podium with Bose. They were neck and neck in terms of sound quality as well as noise cancelling, right? And this went on for a bit, but there was still a big hole in the market for people like me who wanted wireless noise cancelling earbuds that were small and compact and easy to carry around, unlike big bulky headphones. That was where Apple stepped in with these guys. This is the Apple AirPods Pro. When this came out, it ticked a lot of boxes. It did a lot of things quite well, but then it did a couple of things so gosh darn well that tech enthusiasts and audio enthusiasts alike sat up and took notice, including myself, because frankly, none of us expected Apple to come out with anything remotely this good. But this was back in 2019. It's 2021 now. Is this even worth talking about today? Well, in this video, I hope to show you that not only is this worth talking about, but in 2021, right now, the Apple AirPods Pro might be a better purchase than they ever were before. You're watching What's News. Let's get into it. Okay, first let's talk about form factor, right? Straight off the bat, this thing is tiny. Like, this is my phone. This is the AirPods Pro. Look how small this thing is. Add to that the fact that it was super slim made this incredibly pocketable, something Apple understood right off the bat and a lot of their competitors simply did not. The case holds enough charge to keep the AirPods charged over and over again for about 18 to 24 hours, and they had wireless and wired charging. But what's more interesting is the form factor of the AirPods themselves. See, unlike the old AirPods, the non-Pro version, these things weren't big and bulky, and they didn't extend that far out. This was small, compact, was non-obtrusive, didn't look weird, and they came with these silicone ear tips that made them both more comfortable and helped to form a better seal inside one's ear. Despite it being so small and lightweight, these things don't feel cheap at all. They feel well constructed, they feel solid, everything Apple's really known for. When it came to form factor, you had a really nice pocketable device that even in your ear didn't feel out of place, didn't feel weird when you were walking around the mall, and you didn't have this big long thing hanging off your ear, which was fantastic. When it came time to pairing, yes, it worked better with iOS devices. It had this thing where if you open up the case, it immediately pairs with any iOS device, and that is fantastic. But in my experience, it's actually really fast even with an Android device. Here's my phone, I turn on Bluetooth, I open this, and it's paired. See how quick that was? And that is a huge step in not alienating Android customers as well. So now this is good enough, at least in terms of pairing for both iOS as well as Android. What about sound quality? Okay, there's a little bit of customization that you can do if you have the iOS device paired with your Apple AirPods Pro. But even without that customization, I wouldn't say they have the best sound quality in the world, but they are nice to listen to. And what that means is it's quite enjoyable. The bass is kind of lacking, but it is present enough to make pop music enjoyable, for example. And the rest of the frequencies, while they are present, it's not very dynamically skilled. It doesn't have that amazing separation and that fine-tuning. Like if you're listening to an orchestra, you're unlikely to get all the nuances and details in unless you are listening really, really hard. And that is a bit of a shortfall for Apple. But compare this with their previous offerings, the standard AirPods or even their wired earphones, and you'll see that this is a significant leap forward for them. I am a little bit of an audiophile, but the convenience combined with the pleasantness of the sound makes this quite suitable for, I think, a lot of people. The sound quality actually gets better if you have Apple Music on an iOS device and you've activated that spatial audio Dolby Atmos thing. In my experience, I don't really hear much Dolby Atmos, but I do hear a better separation of sounds and definitely a punchier, stronger bass as well as other frequencies. So the audio does get better. If you are an iOS user, if you have Apple Music, then you get spatial audio for free anyway. These things do sound better with that. Having said that, even with Android, I use it with Deezer and it just sounds pretty good. Not quite as good, but pretty good nonetheless. Okay, so when it comes to noise cancelling, Apple have done something very Apple as well. See, when you select noise cancelling, and you can do that by squeezing on the stem for a bit, when it goes into noise cancelling, it doesn't just go in. It does this thing where all the background noise just swooshes away. swooshes away. It fades away. And I think they knew exactly what they were doing when they programmed that in. And it works. It is a very nice experience when that happens. I absolutely love putting on noise cancelling headphones and then turning them on and listening to the world fade away. And that is exactly what you get with these guys. And it's hard to say who has the best noise cancelling. I mean, Sony and Bose are right up there. What Apple's AirPods Pro does is it reduces all the hum and the buzz. Like if you were in a cafe, the general hum of the crowd would go out, but you could still hear voices. You can still hear cutlery clanging on plates, for example. But everything's even more muted. Combine that with the silicone ear tips, which provide a better seal, and the noise cancelling overall is quite pleasing. Now, if you are listening to music as well, you can pretty much not hear the world around you, which is exactly what you want. On an airplane, I find that this cuts out all the bass frequencies, but the higher hum frequencies that you'll find in most aircraft, they're still there. Still a whole lot better than not having anything in your ears. But what if you don't want noise cancelling? What if you want to have the earbuds in, be able to take calls, but also be able to listen to people around you, right? Well, on the one hand, you could use them one at a time. You can just use one earpod at a time, like so. Or you could turn on transparency mode. And how you do that is you hold the stem down for a few seconds, and it cycles through both noise cancelling as well as transparency mode. And this is something these guys excel at. This device has possibly one of the best transparency modes I have ever experienced, because once you have it in here, first of all, it's very light. It's easy to forget that it's even there, right? If you put it in transparency mode, you can kind of make out that everything's being amplified into your ear a little bit. There's some digital hocus pocus there, but it is so good that I can imagine after a few minutes just forgetting that it's even there and just talking to people like you don't have anything in your ears, which is exactly what you want from a transparency mode. And I have yet to find any earbuds that do it quite as well as these guys. So now we've got a package that has decent sound quality and excellent noise cancelling, has incredibly good transparency mode, and is so light and easy to use. But what happens when you run out of juice? Well, it turns out that these things actually charge at a faster rate for the first few minutes, for 2 or 3 minutes, and then they slow down to their normal rate of charge. And what that translates to is 5 minutes of charge in the case will give you an hour of listening time. This may not be the fastest charging out there, but I do appreciate that they thought of this, because this is something that you would use on the go. A quick charge of 5 minutes giving you an hour of listening time is a really nice touch. Again, if you've got an Apple device and if you're in that Apple ecosystem, it does a couple of other things. For example, if you've got this paired up to your phone, iOS will actually try and understand your usage behavior. Say, for example, you pick these up at, noon every day. iOS will make sure that this thing charges up to 80% right up to the point where you're about to pick it up, and then charges the remaining 20%. This is because, as I'm sure you know by now, lithium batteries are best charged up to 80% most of the time, because that allows them to have a better overall battery life. But if you want that extra 20%, it'll still give it to you, but it'll give it to you just before you're going to pick it up. That's the kind of thing you get in the iOS ecosystem that you unfortunately don't get with Android. But still, it's not a deal breaker for me, and I'm an Android user. I still use these. Which brings us to our most important point. It's 2021. Why are we still talking about these? We know some of these features already exist. I just wanted to reiterate how good they were, and put that in perspective by talking about the price. See, when they came out, they were close to $300, which is very, very expensive. It was right up there with the most expensive offerings, except maybe I think Bang & Olufsen. But now you can find them in the market for about $195, a massive drop compared to what they were at before. To put that in perspective, Bose's QuietComfort earbuds are about $100 more. Sony's new XM4s are also going to be about $90 more than this, and we'll be getting the new Sonys, by the way, on this channel and reviewing them. So if you want to see that, make sure you subscribe and stick around. Even Sennheiser's offerings are at least $30 more expensive than these. The only thing in this price range is probably Jabra's 85T, also a good set of earbuds, but this has better call quality and sound quality, albeit with not as punchy a bass. Now, there are a lot of cheaper offerings, there are a lot of more expensive offerings, but I argue that this thing goes head to head with the best of them, gives you something that is very well made. This is solid construction quality, and because it's an Apple device, chances are it's going to work pretty well for a while. All of that for under $200. I'm going to go out on a limb and say you would be very hard pressed to find anything that competes with this in that price range successfully. And that is why this is a better purchase today than it ever has been. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Stay happy, stay peaceful, stay colorful.